Hi everyone. I have an idea for a new Disney movie that should get put into development. Here's the title of this movie that I think that should get put into development. It's called The Nightmare Fantasmics movie starring Mickey Mouse and Little Nemo from Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. And here's the storyline of what it should look like. Every night, when Mickey Mouse was dreaming, he has an out of body experience and enters his dreams. He ends up going on fun adventures with his friends and ends up waking up in the morning with a smile on his face because of all the wonderful dreams he had at night. Little Nemo had woken up with a smile on his face after dreams where he ends up going to Slumberland to play with Princess Camille, the four goblins, and the king of Slumberland. Little did they know was that the villain Maleficent has been watching them both and felt disgusted about their dreams and came up with a plan to end their dreams for good. But she needed all the help she could get. So she called the villains to her castle at the Forbidden Mountain and told them her plan was to kidnap Mickey and Nemo and trap them in a dream world called the Nightmare Fantasmic. One day, Mickey decided to go and stay with Nemo and his family for a month, of course. For a month. Of course, he couldn't leave without his dog Pluto. When Mickey and Pluto arrived at Nemo's hometown by train, Nemo and his family were waiting for them, or waiting to greet them at the station. When they arrived, they greeted him and took them to their home to get settled. Then, one night, a terrible thing happened. While Mickey and Nemo slept, the villains Captain Hawk, Jafar, Maleficent, Caw, and Sir Hiss showed up. Mickey and Nemo got the feeling they were being watched, woke up, and looked around. They saw the window was open. Nemo thought it might be the transport to Slumberland. When he and Mickey went to look, the transport wasn't there. Nemo thought, that's strange. Normally the transport should be here by now. As he and Mickey decided to close the window, they heard an evil chuckle and looked behind and saw Captain Hook and the other villains, plus his crew of the Jolly Roger. Hello, Mickey and little Nemo. Nemo screamed so loudly that it woke up Nemo's parents, and they rushed to check on them. When they got there, the villains grabbed them all, put them in sacks, and took them aboard the ship. As they took off toward the world where the Nightmare Fantasmic, which where the dream world, which where the dream world, which was where, which is where the dream world beyond the Forbidden Mountain on a mysterious, that's on a mysterious, beyond the Forbidden Mountain, that's on a mysterious island and in the middle of the sea. Island in the middle of the sea, where all the villains were gathered. The villains released them from the sacks and began the spell to create the Nightmare Fantasmic, which can only be cast by Maleficent, Chernabog, Madame Mim, the Horned King, the Nightmare King, Ursula, Jafar, Hades, Queen Grimhilda, and Miserabelle the Witch. When they all cast the spell, the Nightmare Phantasm when they all cast the spell of the Nightmare Fantasmic, they put Mickey, Little Nemo, and his parents into a hypnotic trance. They tried to resist it, but it was too late. They were completely hypnotized and sent to the Nightmare Fantasmic dream world. But little did the villains know was they accidentally brought some of the heroes into the world as Mickey, Nemo, and his parents were drifting at sea. Monstro the whale spotted them and swallowed them all. The door to it was locked, and the keys were scattered all over the island. And to make matters worse, the keys were guarded by dangerous spells, and they were statues that could fit in the holes. So Mickey and Nemo, along with Nemo's parents, can't get free until the spell will be broken. Meanwhile, Mickey's dog Pluto and Icarus the flying squirrel saw what happened and knew they had to get help. Then came an airship that took Nemo to Slumberland, showed up, and to the captain's discovery, he saw that Nemo's bedroom had been broken into. He asked who did this. Later, he found Pluto and Icarus. Pluto was barking like crazy, and Icarus was chattering like crazy, too. The captain, who was listening to all that realized something wasn't right. He could tell that Pluto and Icarus knew something, so he brought them on board the ship and took off to Slumberland. Before they arrived, the captain asked them what happened. What happened? Pluto and Icarus showed him what happened, and he was in shock when he realized that Mickey Mouse and Little Nemo got kidnapped. He thought Princess Camille is not going to like this, and same with the king. When they arrived, they rushed to the castle. Princess Camille was very excited to see her best playmate. When they came in, the king saw that the captain was in shock. The captain said, Mickey Mouse and Little Nemo have been captured by villains. I thought you shouldn't need to know about this. Then he fainted. Princess Camille's excitement turned to worried and sadness. The king wondered, who would do this to my little Nemo, heir to the throne of Slumberland, and his friends and family? Don't worry, don't worry, my daughter. We will find him and Mickey, said her father. Pluto and Icarus went to go and comfort her. When she saw them, she pet them, and Pluto licked her face, and she said, You miss them too, do ya? Her father sent all the guards to go find them, but by the time they returned, they said they never found him. The king decided that he should ask his friends for help. So he summoned Yensid, the blue fairy, the fairy godmother, the three good fairies, Merlin the wizard, Dobbin, and the magical pig Henwen, Mowgli, Baloo the bear, Bagheera, Hercules, Megara, Philoctetes, Zeus, Taran, Princess Ilonui, Gurgi, Fluter Flam, Aladdin, Princess Jasmine, Abu, Kasim, Iago, Prince Philip, Peter Pan, Wendy, Jane, Elliot the Dragon, Princess Ariel, Prince Eric, King Triton, Ariel's sisters, Melody, Ariel's daughter, and King Louie. Later, they all arrived and asked why he needed their help. He told the whole story to them, and they looked with concern. They thought, that is something. Dobbin said, Hanwen sensed it. I didn't know why she was acting like this until I brought her in my hut and told me to reveal the future by putting her nose in the water. Do you think Henwen can reveal where Mickey, Nemo, and his parents are are at? Asked the king. I don't know, said Dobbin, but it is worth a try. Then they got Henwen to try to reveal the location of where they are. Later, something was coming through. They saw Mickey, little Nemo, and his parents. They wanted the Princess Camille to see this too. Then something happened. Mickey came out of the bowl and told them their location. They were in the belly of Monstro the whale. They weren't alone in there, though. They were with Skipper Frank Wolf and his girlfriend, Dr. Lily Houghton, along with Princess Moana, Maui, Queen Kita, and King Milo Thatch. Then Mickey told them to go to the island and in the middle to the island in the middle of the sea. They told them the only way to enter the dream world is to find the four statues that were small enough to fit into the keyholes. That was all they wanted to know. They all made preparations to set sail for that mysterious island. 2 weeks later, they arrived at the island. It was covered with darkness. As they disembarked, they all split up into four groups so they could cover ground, while the remainders went to find the door. The first group found the first key. It looked just like Mickey, and it was in a case. They tried to open it up, but then a bunch of paws and coils covered the case. They got the feeling someone didn't want them to get it. Then a mysterious mirror appeared. It showed on the other side was a jungle that was different from India's jungle. They went through the mirror, Baloo, Mowgli, King Louie, and Bagheera. Then the mirror shattered into two shards and went into two locations of the jungle. They followed the trails and found the shards only to discover Shanti was warning them about Kaa and Shere Khan the tiger were in this jungle too. However, Shanti met up with Aladar and his family. They told them the story they were in. And Shanti agreed to come with the group. But first, they had to defeat Shere Khan, Kaa, and Crone, the stubborn iguanodon. Then they defeated them, and the mirror opened. They went through, and the case opened, giving them the key. Then the second group found the second key in a case. They tried to open it, but a bunch of thorns and tentacles covered the case. A mirror appeared, then they went through it, and it ended up on a ship in the ocean, and encountered Ursula as a giant and Maleficent as a dragon. Prince Philip, Princess Aurora, Princess Ariel, Prince Eric, Melody, and King Triton defeated them, and through the mirror they went and found the key, a statue that looks like Little Nemo. The third group found the key, and to their discovery, the fourth key was in the same spot, and told the fourth group that they found them both. They walked over to the cases and tried to open them, but the third group saw a digital barrier around the case, and the fourth group saw bony arms covered the case. They got the same feeling as the other groups. They went through the last two mirrors to confront the villains that were on the other side. The third group encountered Tron and told him the story, and he, Sam, and Cora agreed to go with them. But first, they had to take on the MCP, Master Control Program, Commander Sark, and Clue. It wasn't going to be easy, though. As they went looking for the key, they got ambushed by Sark and were forced to participate in the games where no one wins at all. The announcer said that they have new contenders and they had to fight each other. Quora managed to shoot a very big hole in a wall and they managed to escape from the games. The MCP was furious and told Sark and Clue to send spies and destroy them. Later, they devised a plan to take them down. Merlin, Tron, Quora, Sam, Elliot, and Megara then took on Clue and Sark because they figured it out that they were being watched. When they went to take on the MCP, the program managed to repair Sark's and Clue's data and grew into giants, but they managed to defeat them. They went through the mirror and the barrier disappeared, and the key was theirs. The fourth group went through the last mirror and later discovered a palace that wasn't like any other one at all. They found Elsa, Anna, Olaf, Sven, Kristoff, Li Shang, Yao Ling, Chinpo, Aslan, Mr. Tumnus, Prince Caspian, and the Pevensey children. They told them the story and agreed to join them. Later they encountered 3 army camps. They belonged to Jadis, the White Witch, Shan Yu, leader of the Han army, and the Horned King. They all had to think of a way to defeat those armies in order to get the key and unlock the door. Terran, Princess Ilonwi, Fluter Flam, Gurgi, Dalbin, Henwin, Fail, Mulan, Mushu, Li Shang, Yao, Ling, Chen, Po, and the Pevensies all destroyed the armies and got the key. After that, they all regrouped at where they camped out. They all started realizing that the villains they fought on the other side of each mirror were all illusions. The real villains were actually behind the door towards their goal. They never asked if they were real or fake. That was a mistake. They had no time to argue. They went to the door and placed the 4 statues into the keyholes, and the door opened. They went inside and started searching for them. Later, they told Ariel's sisters, King Triton, and Melody that they search the water. They should search the water. They should that they should search the water to find to search for Monstro. Meanwhile, Monstro was sleeping underwater. Inside were Mickey, Little Nemo, Moana, Maui, Frank Wolf, and Dr. Lily Houghton were fishing inside the whale. Nothing was biting. That wasn't a good sign. They talked. Little Nemo. They talked to each other. They talked and said that there was no fish left inside. Little Nemo was crying because he really missed his good friends from Slumberland. Lily comforted him and told him everything will be okay and kissed him on the cheek, and Moana kissed him on the other cheek. Later, a school of cod were about to swim toward Monstro. He scared them by opening his eye really wide, then started swimming after them. His mouth opened wide, and in came the fish, and they started catching them. And Melody saw the scared fish and saw him coming right toward them. They went to warn the others, to warn the whole everyone that Monstro was coming. They tried to make a run for it, but failed because they all got swallowed by Monstro. It was a joyful reunion that they found all their friends. Now they had to figure out how to escape Monstro. Then they had an idea. They would have to make him sneeze them out. They saw there were more ships inside that had oil and gunpowder. Before they set them on fire, Frank had told them the reason that this spell was cast, and it was all part of the Nightmare King's plan for revenge on Nemo for destroying him with the scepter and setting Nightmare Land free. He told all the villains to help him with his plan. They agreed on one condition. They cast the spell, and if they ever escaped, they can all start a war between good and evil. The Nightmare King agreed, and the villains all got armies ready for war. When Camille and her father heard the plan, they got ready to fight to light the oil barrels and lit them. Frank started his boat and drove towards the mouth. It was the mouth of the whale. They got ready for the sneeze, and they managed to escape Monstro. To escape, Monstro tried to catch them, but he failed. They managed to get ashore without detection. However, one of the spies saw them sneak and told the king. He said, "What? Nemo and his friends have escaped?" He informed the other villains, and then they got their armies ready for battle. Meanwhile, the heroes called upon their armies, Aslan's army and Prince Caspian's army. They all got ready. Then they met on the battlefield, and then next they charged into battle. Then the battle was almost over when the king said the magic words. With the scepter, a beam of light shot out and defeated all the villains, sending them back to their worlds, and destroyed the Nightmare King for good. The spell was broken, and everything was back to normal. Later, there was a big celebration at Slumberland. There was a lot of dancing, and then Nemo had to return home with his family, and Mickey also had to go home. Then one morning, Nemo and Mickey woke up with smiles on their faces back at Nemo's house. That is, finally, Mickey and Nemo played together, and he promised that they'd see each other again real soon. That is the end of Mickey's and Nemo's adventures beyond Slumberland. And here is the cast members for this movie that should be made with it. The cast of The Little Mermaid, one from The Little Mermaid 2, the cast of The Jungle Book 2, cast of The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, cast of The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian, cast of Jungle Cruise, the cast of Aladdin, one from Pete's Dragon, cast of The Black Cauldron, cast of Moana, cast of Frozen, the cast of the movie Dinosaur, cast of Peter Pan Return to Neverland, cast of Hercules, cast of Maleficent, cast of Atlantis Lost Empire, the cast of Mulan, cast of Tron and Tron Legacy, the cast of Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, Jim Cummings, Frank Welker, Alan Tudyk, and Christopher Lloyd as the narrator. The rest of the cast members you that are thinking of is up to you. I think this is a really great idea. I believe I got this idea because I was inspired by about hearing about the not about Disneyland show Fantasmic, and I think it should become a movie. And I think it's a great idea that it should become a movie. I recommend you talk to people about it in person, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, Skype, TikTok, Fandango, Screen Rant, comic book resources, and video chat with people about it. Bye for now. Until next time, I think of another Disney movie that should get put into development. Please remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and share my videos on social media and share via messaging and email too. Don't forget to check out my playlists.